If you have said to yourself, I should write that, or if someone has said to you, you should write that, then I'm talking to you because you need to write. And that's why you're tuned in to yWrite. Hi, welcome to yWrite. I'm your host, Angela Grout, and I'm so happy that you've tuned in today to this episode of yWrite. I have someone here, not in studio, but zooming in from a private jet. She is out in LA or out in California, and her name is Haleh Houshim. And let me tell you about this amazing, beautiful woman. She is the author of, and I have her book right here, You Are the Universe, the Master Creator. She is a health and wellness guide, helping people return to their highest joy with excitement, passion, and inspiration. Now, she is also a cell resonance quantum coach, and we're going to talk to her about what that is. But I can tell you this, I know it's something that encourages people to fulfill their mission, and she believes that everybody, just as I believe, every individual has a purpose. So I want to welcome Haleh to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful and thankful to be here in this time and space with you.
It's so great. I mean, you and I, we've just kind of met through some Zooms because you're always seeming to be zooming and flying everywhere in that beautiful jet of yours. So, I did get your book, and I have to say, for such a tiny, I'm going to say tiny book, I mean, it's such a really great guide. It's like having you as a coach in the back pocket. Why? I have so many questions. So let's just get right down to it. Because I know, like, on the back of the book, you've talked about how, people have all these challenges in life and they try to fulfill their mission. And you have found a way to, like, share how to do this in a book. So why write this book? And how did the idea come to you?
Thank you so much. So, you are the universe, the master creator is your cosmic self. And why it matters is we are the universe and deeply interconnected. That consciousness helps shapes the reality. So each person co-creates the universe and the experiences. So it was my huge passion to write this book. I'll share a brief story of how it came about.
Yeah,
So
because this is very interesting and it's right up my alley.
Right. So actually, one day I went to this class, write a book in a day, not an AI, but you writing a book in a day. When I went, I was totally like blank. Nothing would come to me. Nothing came to me. And guess what? When my dad crossed over, he wrote the book for me. It was through the source, through me, literally poured in me the second time I took that write a book in a day again. And I didn't write it. I'll say he wrote it, and the message needed to be shared. And he also shared that I need to get that book in the hands of billions of people. So I'm
In the hands of me.
It's like, how am I supposed to get it out to billion? Yes, right? So that was one of my purpose, because he crossed over on Mother's Day of May 2020.
Well, I totally resonate with that. I have had, unfortunately, many friends cross over. Therefore, I have had that, not just the communication, but I definitely have the complete 100% belief that there is life after death. Like the energy is still moving. So, I mean, that is something that totally resonates with me. And the fact that, like, you say he wrote it for you, like, and for audiences, I want them to understand, I think, you'll agree with me, he didn't come down with his hands and write, but it comes through us. It comes through us. And for me, like, a lot of times I'll call it like the Holy Spirit. It's like his spirit came through you to pen this. And that is exactly what I mean, my book, An Angel's Journey, I mean, it was written in 9 hours. I mean, it just was like, and I don't like the word used downloaded, but
Right.
it is like, it's just like a download that comes to you. And I know that a lot of artists, especially, but musicians and like songwriters, I mean, they totally get this. I mean, it's like there's stuff in the air, and if you just grab it, I always say, like, you can't see the Wi-Fi, but sometimes you can tune into, the certain sound, and if that gift comes through you to tell. And I mean, you did such a beautiful job with this, because I love how you organized it with the table of contents. I mean, and each chapter, it's like, I love this. It's like literally, I mean, look, I wrote in it. I have conversations in the book.
Right.
And I underline things, but like, you give everybody space to express themselves. So like, not only are you, sharing, this is called Sounds of Nature. You've written this beautiful symphony of words, but then after, you have the reflection, and then, you can write it. And, I made my little notes, but then I had to go to a notebook because I knew I would fill it too much. But it's very inspirational, because this is what I think a lot of writers, especially I'm going to say writers, struggle with, but I mean, people in general, getting their voice out, getting their thoughts onto a page. Like when I know you said, like, you took a class, write a book in a day, which I love classes like that. I always get inspired. I'm like, yes, let's do it. Let's write a book today. But then when your father passed away, and my condolences, you get this journey about how we are the universe, because we are all interconnected. And when you were writing this, I want to know your process. Like, did you come up with an outline? Did he say, you're going to write this, that, like the chapter titles, or did you just start penning and then decide how to put it in order?
Thank you for that. Writing a book have been my passion since I was a kid. I loved to write, so I always journaled and wrote. It was my best friend. Um, so the first thing, but I put it aside because a lot of people say English was not, I mean, it's not my first language, and the grammar and all of that. I remember in English, my English teacher said, continue with the writing, because she saw the passion, she saw the creativity in me. But then she said, work on your grammar. So then down the line, I always wrote, but I never wrote a book, but I always wanted to do. So I did take a class here and there because it was always fun for me. I loved it, to express it. And so with this one, the first thing I did is put the cover picture out. So make sure I have the title and the cover. And I put it on my laptop. So it was in front of me constantly as an inspiration.
Yeah.
So
Oh, so you
that,
did the cover first. That's so
yes,
interesting. Oh,
yes,
that's so interesting.
yes, and the title. So I started with that, and that motivated me, inspired me at the same time. That was the first time, but let alone that, as you mentioned, we're all like an atom. We're all energies. The atom is all, we're all frequency. So that frequency, and we never, my belief is you never die. The spirit lives on. So my dad's spirit came through me divinely. And when I wrote that book, so the second time everything just poured because it has been such a long passion of mine. And the spirit helped me to put my message out there. Because just briefly, I say, when my message was not out there, although I lived a holistic lifestyle, I ended up being bedridden for 3 months. But that is a story of itself. That's how it is important to write and voice out your message, because those trapped emotions can go into our cells and cause some kind of symptom. So I had to put that out there to write your book. Yes.
Well, and you are a health and wellness guide. You're, a coach helping people to stay healthy. And one of the things I do believe in is, if you have something inside you that's kind of eating away at you or bothering you, like talking it out, writing it out, it's so helpful. And like one of the things I want to talk about is on page 38 of this book that's only 74 pages. I mean, like it's just amazing. You talk about how you co-authored a book called You Can
Uh-huh.
Overcome Anything. And it's like a lot of what you've talked about in this book really does relate. There it is. Oh, let me see. I'll hold it up. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I mean, because I mean, you literally write like there's so many things that come between and try to stop me from reaching my goal. And you're saying this in your words, but as I'm reading, I'm like, yeah, there are so many things that stop us from reaching our goal, whether it's, to get a new job or to have a child or to lose 10 pounds or write a book. And it's like, but then you wrote, I gave a commitment to myself and I knew I needed to be consistent and persistent. And like, it's so it just rings in my ear because it's like you saying it validates how I know the truth is, but yet sometimes we need to hear the truth outside of us.
Yes, yes, yes. Um, Talking about overcoming, and when I wrote that book, I had so many obstacles. And just to name one, it's unheard of. 30 spider bites to stop me to move forward. I have never heard of 30 spider bites. I literally had to count them because each one it was swollen. And it was not, but I had a commitment, no matter what, be persistent and move forward. So I took the book to the finish line thanks to the author of the book and my husband to have me pull through to the finish line. Yes,
Yeah.
I had the burning desire in me that I needed to get this book out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know that feeling. I mean, I've been working on my book being in my breast for, I want to say 6 years now. It might even be longer. And during that time, I've had 7 surgeries. And it was like, oh my gosh, I mean, knee
Wow.
replacements. I had to have my hand reconstructed. And literally I would be writing with my left hand. So that journal is hilarious to look at to me. But
Chills.
it's like when you are passionate about something, you're going to make it happen. And not only you, but the universe,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
makes it happen. And, there's just so much I believe that, we are guided by, the visible and the invisible. And, and I always say, because I teach confirmation in the Catholic Church, I was raised Catholic, and that's what's given me my spirituality. But I always say to the kids, like, number one, if the voice of God, the voice of the universe is always going to speak to you in love and kindness, it's always going to give you perseverance. And if it tells you something to harm someone else or to harm yourself, then that's not it. Get help for that. I mean, ignore it, shut it out, get that mean critic girl out of your mind or whatever. But it is just like, thank you. I mean, you just feel that so much gratitude. Now, I'm going to specify that I love that they're short chapters because for me, I like fast reads.
Yes.
And as much as this can be a really fast read, you almost want to take it slow. Like I could see it being almost like a daily journal. Take one little piece each day, write it out, or binge it and do it all in a day. But to kind of not change the subject a little bit, but you're this wellness health guide, but you also do this thing called cell renaissance quantum coaching. And now I know quantum. Like, people tell us about quantum and tell us what this is. I want to know.
Thank you. It's cell resonance quantum healing. So what it is, when it was back in 2011, when I was in bed and I couldn't move, I had to be carried to the restroom. That is when the cell resonance quantum coach came into my life because of a connection I had. And I'll tell you one thing, because one of the diagnoses they gave me was Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune of the thyroid.
Mhm.
And nowhere in my genes or genetic did anyone have that diagnosis. And I was told by the medical field that, especially when you reach menopause, there's no way that you can be without medication. Well, I'm a living proof. At 56, I've never been on any meds. One of the techniques that I'm certified in right now is cell resonance quantum healing. So, and this person knew a scientist that cured stage 4 pancreatic cancer. So, through these two people were one of the methods, the nutrition part and the cell resonance is in the subconscious mind. What we don't know that what we don't know. I was happy, joyful at that time. I had a six pack. I was working out. Everything was great. But let alone, I ended up in bed because the energy around my throat was shut. And I didn't even know. I'm like, how could it be? I'm social and energy and everything as well. So
So,
at that
like,
time,
how is it similar to Reiki?
yes, it's completely
Okay.
different because
Okay.
I was in the past, I don't practice it because I've
Okay.
gone to the quantum level. Because the Reiki, was a certified master certification. And what happened, they told me, well, did you know before Reiki, it was Terramai. So then I studied and became a master and that kind of energy healing too. But none of this actually, see, with cell resonance is a different, they're all good. I'm not putting
Yeah,
anything
yeah. No,
down.
I can see like it's all
It's
energy
on the
work.
quantum level.
Yeah.
It's on a different quantum level. It's like some people call it portal, different timelines.
Yeah.
Well, the on that is different. It
Mhm. Well,
works
and
on
I understand
your
it as like
cells.
almost a different timeline, but also just like a different experience. Like, you can be in your living room watching a movie and then you're so into the movie that you're actually in that movie that you're watching. So you're having, on a basic level, like a quantum experience, because
Yeah,
you're kind of in two places
right,
at once.
right. It's a quantum level of experience. It's like how the body heals itself. You
Yeah.
know,
I mean,
it's the body
quantum
can.
physics is like so amazing to me and like all of that. And just understanding like the belief system of, if, like you said, you can overcome anything, like if you believe it, you can achieve it. But you have to set goals for it and you have to find the modalities that are going to help you to achieve that. So, there's definitely power in the belief system. It's something that kind of, is near and dear to me with the being in my breast. And I know you haven't read it just yet, but it's like this particular woman has breast cancer and she's told, with or without treatment, she has 9 months. And she decides I'm going to live my life and control what I can control and not do treatment, which is a very hard decision, but that was her decision. It's her journey. For me, I would have liked to have been like, I'm going to beat this. But everyone has their journey. Everyone makes their decisions based on what's right for them. So if you believe it, you're going to achieve it.
Yeah, 'cause
You
I
believed
used
you were
to.
going to write this book, so you put it in front of you and you did that. So I guess my biggest question is like, I know how you got into the field of the quantum healing, because you said like you started with the Reiki, you kind of understood energy work, and then when you get to a point where you need it,
Mhm.
like you become your own healthcare aide, right?
Right. And at a young age, I was age 7, that I had this knowing that we can live way beyond that is given to us. So I carried that, although my background, I worked in corporation. But however, on the side, my whole research and educating was about the well-being. And I coached with our greatest beloved Dr. Wayne Dyer and Louise Hay. So I was always connected to know more and
Yeah.
research more and dig deeper in our well-being because that was my passion always and it never left me.
Yeah.
So that's my belief. And I believe that we're all, everything is frequencies. So to go to that level of the quantum was really fascinating and to learn more and more because then that's where you know how powerful you are and we've just forgotten.
Yeah. And Wayne Dyer, like I studied with him, read his books, things like that. And, it's just very powerful when he had said something and he wrote a book with his daughter about don't die with your music inside
But
you,
yes.
don't die with your story inside you. And for me, that's why I started this Why Write program, not only for other people, but for me, because I needed to explore why I'm writing and why am I writing? Because I have this music inside me that I don't want to like just die with. I know other people are supposed to hear it, whether it's a story, a fictional story, a true story, whatever it is, there's that message, that story, that love that needs to come out. And I take a lot of memoir classes and I coach people on writing books. And I say to them, you don't want to die with your story inside you, because if you do, and then you come back to tell me your story and I have to download it, it's not going to be necessarily exactly what you wanted. And I apologize for that. I'm going to do the best of my ability to write the story. But at the same time, I can only write it in the way I know how, and put my experience in there. Now you have something that is called the foundation, the foundational commands. I love this. I love this because this is what our passion is made from. So do you want to share with us these 6 commands that you kind of
Uh, yeah, I'll share
trademarked?
about I'll share about the commands. That is now this is why I said not everyone can resonate with this, but this is the space that I'm at and that has brought in more and more connection to the source and who I am. Not a day goes by without me constantly asking the commands. It's literally asking for what you want. And when you have that burning desire, that knowing, that embodiment, it'll come right there with you. So I tell people, you don't meditate anymore. I say, no, I don't do meditation anymore. Doing the command is my meditation because I transition. I used to do yoga every day. I used to meditate. I didn't know. As I grew and I got to know more, and the commands are my way of doing it because I'm present right there with it. I don't have to hold on to anything outside of myself. So I'm right there asking the prime creator, prime creation.
Yeah, at God, the universe, whatever
Yeah,
we need to call this
exactly.
energy that is bigger than us, but a part of us.
Yes.
And, I do, I'm gonna kind of, I think, want to talk about Santa Claus for a minute. But, it's like you want Santa to bring you that gift and or your mother to get you that gift for birthday or whatever, and you're trying to manifest it. But if you keep it inside you, like you need to verb it, you need to be clear, you need to be, you know, if you say, oh, I think, for my birthday, I want a book. Okay. Well, if you say, I want a book called You Are the Universe by Haleh Houshim, I mean, when you are clear and you are focused on exactly what you want, and you ask the universe for what you want, then
Yeah.
they can deliver it in a very kind of specific way, but not necessarily always the way that you intended for it to come.
Right.
But, I think that's why when you have the foundational commands, and you're talking about, you know, balancing life and being confident and being clear and all of those things, like I love that because I when I was writing it down, like with the little an acronym, I was trying to come up with, do you have an acronym for it? I don't know, I was trying to come up with, like, BFCCES, like almost look like best friend with like the end of success, CCES. And because it's you're talking about the balance and the focus and
Yes.
the confidence, the clarity,
Yes.
the energy, and
Mhm.
stress, because
Oh, yes.
all of that becomes what we're asking for. I
Yes.
mean, yeah, we can be stressed about money and be like, okay, you know I'm going to ask to win the lottery, but it's like, okay, when you're saying, okay, let me win the lottery today, you're not being very clear on what lottery. The lottery that you just won could be that you're alive today. You're breathing. So, maybe it's going to be, we have to be very clear. Like, I need to buy a $2 scratch ticket and I need to, I don't know. But am I sort of on the same
Right,
energy
right.
level?
You gotta, yeah, be clear in asking what you want. Like now, besides my self-care routine in the morning, the first thing I do I make sure I set my day by asking it. And what you want to do in this one is out loud.
Yes.
You need to say it out loud and hear yourself. Let's say you're doing the dishes, even. If you're getting up making your bed, just say it out
Yeah.
loud and do your stuff. What do you want today to be for you? And
Yeah.
be exact. Like you want money in my bank account, just say how much you want. And but the I'll tell you, asking, being in that frequency is super important.
Yeah.
What high vibration frequency you're at. If you're in
Hmm.
pain, not feeling good,
Yeah.
when you ask,
Yeah.
it's not gonna. So the
Yeah.
energy of it, you asking it, the
Yeah.
feeling you have, who you're being has a lot to do with it. And not
Yeah.
giving up. Keep doing it. You know,
Yeah.
for not give up because it will come true.
I, I'm a to-do list maker, so like, as much as I verb things out loud and I talk out loud all the time myself, and at work even sometimes I'd be like, you guys, what do if I'm working on a story, what do you think if this was to happen? Or what do you think for this? Just to
Right.
get it out, to hear. Because sometimes you're like, that's crazy, that's not gonna work, or yeah, that works well. But like I feel like if I'm writing it down or if I'm verbing it, like for me, I feel like, okay, angels, I made my list of what I need to do today. Keep me focused.
Yes.
And now they know what my list is. And then, it's so empowering to cross off,
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah,
It's
but it is a matter of like, verbing it out loud. Words are powerful, they manifest things. So,
yeah.
doing oh, I wish I cleaned the garage this weekend. No, I'm going to clean the garage this weekend, like changing a little bit of the pattern of how we word things.
But also, like, what are you going to clean out?
Yeah.
Be really specific, but also this is funny. The way I've already shared the way you say it, but be clear about, oh, I'm going to clean. Okay. But what are you going to clean? So the
Yeah.
more specific we are, the more it helps for manifesting. And one reason I didn't mention writing down, they're both important, but the writing down is part of the self-care I do, the journaling. That is an everyday for me too. So the writing and saying out loud, both is powerful. I want to share this just because some people might say, oh, it doesn't work. So just remember the energy behind it is really crucial for it to come out. There was one incident in my life that it took me 4 years, but I didn't give up. I was consistent and persistent. And guess what? By not giving up, after 4 years, it came true. So I just want to give a little bit of hope to people.
Yeah. No, it's so true. You radiate just joy and energy that
Aw.
just makes me want to, you know, jump in and get more work done. I want to write a book in a day. I got two more books I'm editing right
Oh
now,
my
but
God, let's write more. Yes, I'm getting inspired by talking to you.
yeah, I mean, and it's so true because if you can write something that can inspire someone, like I always say, I want what I write to either inspire or entertain and maybe even educate, and I'm not talking like educate like on a school level, but just like getting the lesson in there. What's the lesson? Live life fully, embrace every day. Understand that there's more to this world, that we're not alone, and
Yes,
you know
exactly.
that's exactly your message here in the universe, because we're not alone. We're all connected in some way, shape, or form. I mean, look, I got my pink sign behind me. You're wearing pink. I mean, it's
Oh
just
wow,
that's
look at that. Look at that. It worked. Everything aligns, right? It's like, wow, I didn't even notice that till you mentioned the
now.
thing.
How can people find your book? How can they get a hold of you if they want to work with you? How do people get in touch with you?
Thank you so much.
And I know your email is on here, so that's awesome.
Yeah, the website is
The
right
website.
there, healthspanwithhaleh.com. So the books are on my website, and at the same time, you can email me, which is again my name, which is on right here, Haleh dot my last name at gmail.com. And I would love to. There's a calendar link there. I would love to have a conversation with you.
Yeah, no, I think people
Oh,
should reach out for you for sure because you have a lot of things going on.
yeah, I forgot to mention, and it's also on Amazon.
Yeah, I know. We're all on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, you know.
Right.
But you do a lot, and you definitely, people link on. I mean, to meet with you on your calendar, there's no charge, and
Right.
then you work with them if they
Complimentary.
want you to work with them or guide them or whatever they need.
Yes, they get a 30-minute complimentary call with me. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to be signing up soon.
Hop
But
on.
but I tell you, this right here is priceless because I mean I can reopen this any day, and whether I read it again, cover to cover, or just randomly, I mean just each chapter is so cool. You had a great chapter on relationships, which boy I really dissected into that one. The financial freedom, and then just embracing who you are, and really you know, and actually, I give my writers a prompt at the end of every show, so I hope you're okay with this. But like you really talk about like knowing who you are, like who you are, and I like that. So, for today's prompt, I'm definitely, I want to tell my audience what I usually do at the end of the show is tell them, when the show ends, set your timer for 5 or 10 minutes, even if it's for 15 or 20 minutes, however long they have. But just like take this writing prompt and literally pick up a pen. I prefer a pen to the paper. Do you handwrite?
I I am tangible and I love to handwrite.
Okay. Yeah, I need that too. Because I mean, there's nothing wrong with typing, but something with the actual flow of the energy from your
Yes,
hand to the pen to the ink to the page.
yes.
So doing a writing prompt for
And I
five
have
or ten
tons of them
minutes.
here too.
Oh, look how beautiful. I love it.
I
You can pick
like
different.
I'm creative. I love writing and the creativity.
Oh, well, I'm so glad that you came on the show. I definitely want the audience today to use the prompt of who am I? I mean, because whether we're going to make a list and put, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a neighbor, I'm a teacher, to do like that kind of, I hate to use the word like basic description, but then to get into like, who am I? I love Italian food. I love the color pink. I love to write, I love to write about, like to actually get into diving into who you really are, being very clear, being confident with who you are, because it is about being able to stand up and say, I am the host of yWrite. And I am very grateful that Holly, woo, hallelujah, Holly came on the show. I had to do it at least once.
Yes, I always say hallelujah, like hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Yes.
Thank
Hallelujah to
you.
you and the
Oh my
universe.
God.
Thank you for sharing how you wrote this book and why you wrote it, because so many people out there who are looking to write their story, if they feel uncomfortable saying, oh, it's being downloaded from the universe or, whatever it is, it just builds their confidence level knowing that there's people out there like us.
Thank you so much. And a lot of times it's like our subconscious mind, it gets so programmed, so we forget who we are. Are we ourselves or are we all those talk and noises in our head? So
Yeah.
who you're being is really, really important. Just
Yeah, and
be it.
we all have an important story to share. And like you say, every individual has a purpose, and every story is important, and no story is really the same, but we all resonate the same.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show today. And I don't know where you're off jet setting to, but I'm sure it's to inspire someone. So thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to put all your links down below to all your LinkedIn and your and everything you got going on. So again, Holly, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much. It's an honor and privilege to be in this space with you. And hop on, fasten your seatbelts. Let's go.
Let's fly. All right. I want to thank you, the listening audience, for tuning in each day. Remember your writing prompt today. I want you to take some time and write, who are you? Who am I? I am. And then just start the list or start just a paragraph and really write your own bio. Own who you are. Own everything you love. All right. Thanks for tuning into yWrite. My name is Angela Grout, and I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.